What is up, guys? Welcome back into the Lucky Shots podcast. Today we will be doing the 2022 running back ranking show for fantasy football. So without further ado, let's hop right into it. We will pop that down and bring this up again. Little background for you, kind of see what goes into making the show. But let's hop in to the running back rankings. Right away, we'll go into the elite running back status. So, obviously, we got to throw Jonathan Taylor up there. We're going to throw Christian McCaffrey up there. And we're going to throw Austin Eckler up there. Those are the three mainstays, I think, for the elite status this year. Other guys you could throw in there, probably Dalvin Cook, Derrick Henry as well. He's on the lower end if you're in a PPR. However, because of no receiving capital, but if he does what he did last year, he doesn't need to catch the ball to put up that many points. Let's take a look at the other guys on here and who I may put in the elite status. You know, we're going to throw Alvin Kamara up there as well. I've done a lot of mock drafts, and Alvin Kamara seems to slip to the second round or towards the end of that first round. I think that's a mistake. He should be, within that top half of the first round. We know what Alvin Kamara can do. He's going to be in an offense that is very pass-heavy with Jameis Winston, so I don't think there's any reason to doubt what Alvin Kamara can do. The only reason possibly could be the fear of his suspension, but I don't think that's happening this year. I've seen a lot of reports that Alvin Kamara isn't going to miss any time this year due to disciplinary action from his possible assault charge in Vegas last year. So I think he's going to be one of those top guys. How do we rank these guys? Honestly, if Christian McCaffrey is healthy, which is a big if because it's been 2 years in a row now that he has not been healthy. But if he's healthy, he is easily the running back one this year. I mean, look at the few games. I think he's played 8 games in the last 2 seasons. Look at all of those games. He's averaging like 25 to 30 points a game, doing some of that without even scoring touchdowns. So he is the clear number one if he can stay healthy, but that's a huge if. So as of right now, I would keep Jonathan Taylor in that one spot. So now we look at McCaffrey and Eckler. Eckler, I think you can trust the health a little more, and he gets kind of the same volume that Christian McCaffrey does, the same type of volume. But if McCaffrey is healthy, he obviously gets a lot more because he is the main portion of that offense, especially with new quarterbacks this year. I think, he's definitely primed to be the running back one again this year. I would move Alvin Kamara into that 4 spot and then have Dalvin Cook and Derrick Henry. Somebody else that probably could go up here because of what he did last season is Najee Harris, but we are going to hold off from putting him in that elite category just yet. And again, this should be how every draft goes for the first 6 picks, in my opinion. If you're in that first 6 picks area and you don't take a running back, that's pretty dang risky. I mean, once you get past the 6, then there's guys like Cooper Kupp, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Devontae Adams that I can see taking. But if these running backs are still on the board and you go to receiver first, I think you're making a mistake. You have to have one of these guys on your squad if they are still there. And, with the first 6 picks, those should be the guys there. So let's go ahead and move into running back 1, where we will put Najee Harris right away. an absolute stellar year last year. He showed he can be a big-time receiving back as well, and he's a pretty decent size running back too, so he's going to be in there for a majority of the game out running back, and I don't believe the Steelers really have anybody else behind him to really cut into that share. So he's a guy that is very close and on the cusp of being in the elite status, but Najee Harris will go there as well. Let's take a look. Leonard Fournette, he will be in that running back one area as well based on what he did last year. Turns out he can catch the football really well too, so that was a happy surprise. And we haven't seen a lot out of Leonard Fournette in his entire career. In Jacksonville, he had injury problems. He was playing on the Jaguars, so it wasn't great. Last season was that breakout year, and he really solidified himself as the number one running back there. And if you don't believe me, they sent out Ronald Jones, so he is going to be the guy. And I believe in that offense, if he can replicate what he did last year, it's going to be, you're not going to regret taking him as your running back one. Joe Mixon as well. He definitely outperformed what I thought he would last year, and he's on a very powerful offense. I believe he was in the top 5, finished in the top 5, if not like the top 8. So he's another running back that should go off the board very quickly. We'll put James Conner up there, touchdown machine man. And again, he's kind of in the same boat as Leonard Fournette. They shipped out Chase Edmonds, so he is solidified as the one. And if he can, even get half the touchdowns with the same amount of touches that he did last year, he's going to have another great fantasy year. But if he gets into that 10 touchdown threshold, which I foresee him being able to do again this year, he's going to be another top option. Let's go with Javonte Williams. The guy was an absolute workhorse last year and was underutilized. I think with Russell Wilson coming in, he is going to be, he's going to turn into kind of that bell cow, the 3-down back. Possibility of Melvin Gordon coming in sometimes as well is there, but just looking at the way that Javonte ran last year, very impressive. I think he can easily be in your running back one spot and still get the job done for you. All right, let's take a look-sees. We'll go ahead and put DAndre Swift up there as well. He gets it done on a terrible team. I mean, the offense isn't horrendous. I mean, they have a lot of playmakers. It's just that their offensive line isn't super duper, and their quarterback isn't all that great. And they play in the Packers division, the Vikings division, so they're going to be in games where they have to keep up. DAndre Swift is a receiving back, so I'm comfortable putting him inside, this top 12 kind of area. Let's see. I think we could put Saquon up here as well. I was having a conversation with somebody the other day, and if Saquon and Christian McCaffrey are both healthy for the entire year, there's a great chance they could be the running back one and the running back two. We saw flashes last year from Saquon, but again, injuries kind of hindered him. So it's just whether or not you're comfortable taking the risk on him. But the reward and the ceiling for him, I believe, is still really high. So he's a guy that could be a very sneaky top 5 running back this year. So we'll put him into this running back 1 category. Let's see if anybody else really goes there. Excuse me. I don't believe so. I think we're going to go down into the running back 2 area, where we're going to throw Elijah Mitchell, David Montgomery, for sure, those two. And now we get into what's the workload look like for these players. So, if you've been keeping up on the Packers, A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones, the coach really wants to do a 50-50 split between the two. They're both really good running backs. So do we put them both into the running back 2 area? Do we put them both into the flex area? Or do we put one higher than the other? That's really tough. We're going to come back to that one. And the same thing will go for Damian Harris and Ramondre Stevenson, because I believe they're going to be splitting quite a bit this year as well. Harris was the workhorse last year, but Ramondre Stevenson really showed that he can tote the rock as well. So we'll come back to him as well. I think we'll put Cam Akers into that running back 2 slot. They really want to have him there. So I believe he is their guy, and we'll keep him there. In that same respect, we will put in the handcuffs area Darrell Henderson. Henderson is fully capable if Akers is hurt, so that's where we will have him to start. And since we have Dalvin Cook up here, Alexander Mattison also will go in the handcuffs because, again, he has proved fully capable when Dalvin Cook gets hurt, goes down, something like that. I think we can put Josh Jacobs into this running back 2 area as well. He's probably going to be the workhorse as long as, he holds on to the ball, doesn't get hurt. He's a very solid running back. We'll have to see what the offense looks like this year with Josh McDaniels as the head coach and more of the running back by committee that he probably is used to running in New England. So there's a possibility that Josh Jacobs' value could go down because of that, but we'll see. I mean, we're keeping Damian Harris valued there as well. So I think Jacobs could have a Damian Harris type of season that Damian Harris had last year, but it's just yet to see. So with Damian Harris there, we'll go ahead and put Ramondre Stevenson in the handcuffs. There's a good chance he could be in that flex area, but I think Damian Harris is the 1. Ramondre Stevenson is the 2. The only question is it going to be a 1A, 1B type of thing? As of right now, I think it's going to be more Damian Harris than Ramondre Stevenson. So we'll go ahead and I think, honestly, we're going to put both of the Green Bay running backs as equals in the running back 2 area. This is an offense that's going to have to find playmakers, find how their offense is going to work. And if these two are splitting 50-50, they're both phenomenal. Aaron Jones is a guy where if he wasn't splitting 50-50, he could easily be in the running back 1, or over the past couple seasons, the type of games he's had, if he was the only guy, he could be up in that elite area. But if he's splitting 50-50 with A.J. Dillon, who is also very talented, I think they both go in the running back 2 area. I like Nick Chubb, but I don't like where this offense is this year. You can still, possibly, if he's your running back 2, I think you can still kind of be comfortable with that. And then Kareem Hunt, I want to put him in the flex because over the past couple years, these two can both play side by side and be fantasy relevant. But with him asking for a trade, just the messiness of Cleveland right now, we're going to put him in the handcuff area with Nick Chubb. Melvin Gordon, we're also going to put in the handcuff area, even though I think he could get more work than just being a handcuff to Javonte Williams. but is it enough to warrant him being actually in your lineup week to week? I don't think so. J.K. Dobbins, we'll put him up there. His health, we don't really know yet. I drafted him last year. Got hurt in the preseason. So then I picked up Gus Edwards, who was the handcuff. He got hurt. So I think healthy J.K. Dobbins in a run-heavy offense is a very good option. I think he could be a running back one, but his health needs to show it, and then he needs to actually prove that he can be a good running back in that system. Excuse me. Let's see. There's no one else that I'm like super interested in putting up into the elite, or into the running back two. Sorry. I was just thinking back to, we have Alvin Kamara up there. Mark Ingram is a good handcuff for him as well. And let's get the handcuffs out of the way. Nyheim Hines to Jonathan Taylor. Do we have... Okay. Yeah, that's where we'll go. So, flex area, we're going to put Antonio Gibson. Gibson, in my opinion, is still a running back that could be a running back 1 or 2, but Washington isn't sold on him. He hasn't had stellar production throughout the last 2 seasons, so we have to keep him in that flex area. Cordero Patterson, I really want to put him in the running back 2 area, but again, the offense for the Falcons is very up in the air. They don't have Matt Ryan anymore, so what is the production going to look like for Cordero Patterson? I'm not really sure. We're going to keep him in the flex area. Breece Hall, somebody that has been haunting my mock drafts all for like the past month. People are very high on him, but it's the Jets. And the Jets, if we have realistic expectations, they're going to be throwing the ball a lot. Where does he work into that with the other receiving weapons that they've added? Is Zach Wilson going to check down to him a lot? I mean, if you look at Michael Carter from last year, he only had about 36 catches. So, I mean, and is Michael Carter going to come in and take some of those receiving options away from Breece Hall? Breece Hall, he's definitely talented, but he's a guy that I don't necessarily trust to have in the top 2 running back spots for yourself. So we're going to keep him there. Travis Etienne, they wanted him to be the guy last year. He got hurt. Don't necessarily know what that's going to look like. And if he gets hurt again, then James Robinson is the next man up for that. So that's where we'll have him. J.D. McKissick is going to go into the handcuffs as well. Now we're getting into kind of sticky situations here. We've got Zeke Elliott, who I don't want him to be, but I think he's going to be the main guy for the Cowboys. They love him for some reason instead of Tony Pollard. And I don't think the split is going to be high enough for Pollard to be startable unless Zeke gets hurt, or unless we see something that, warrants him be in your starting lineup and warrants the Cowboys to play him more. Zeke, we're going to put into the flex category. I would much rather have any running back ahead of him, and that's where I'm at right now. We haven't seen Zeke have a really good season in a while, and he's not necessarily the receiving back. That work is going to go to Tony Pollard, so I don't see a super high upside for Zeke. We're going to keep him low here in the flex area. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, just because we haven't really seen much out of him, we're going to put him into the flex. Chase Edmonds in this new offense, it's a very crowded running back room. He is the projected starter. but we don't know what that means in Miami Dolphins offense right now. So we're going to keep Chase Edmonds' expectations low in the flex area, as well as Devin Singletary. James Cook will go into that handcuffs. He is with the Bills. I think he probably will end up being better than Devin Singletary. I'm not a believer in Devin Singletary, but we're going to have to wait and see. Raheem Mostert is with Miami, so he's going to be behind Chase Edmonds. He's a possible handcuff there, but there's like 4 possible handcuffs. You never know. Miles Sanders, going to keep him in the flex area because we just haven't seen a lot out of him. I didn't put Kenneth Gainwell on here, but he's a guy that could easily find a lot of volume in that offense, especially if Miles Sanders continues to underperform what he should. Ronald Jones with Kansas City could be a handcuff to Clyde, but there's guys like Isaiah Pacheco, who is a rookie, a 7th-round rookie that has a more solidified spot than Ronald Jones does. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. Rashad Penny could or could not be the starter for Seattle, but we don't know what anything on that team is going to look like. We don't even know who the quarterback's going to be. I only put him in flex because he is possibly a starting running back that you could put on your squad, but they also drafted Kenneth Walker III from Michigan State. He could end up being the guy, so that's what we'll go with that. We'll put him, Kenneth Walker, as the handcuff to Rashad Penny, but there's a great chance he could overtake Rashad Penny. There's a great chance neither one of them could be fantasy relevant at all. So that's how we will rank that there. And I'm pretty happy with what this looks like. Again, my major advice for your running backs this year is if you're inside that top 6, you have to go running back. I mean, you can make the argument for Cooper Kupp. You can make the argument for possibly Justin Jefferson. But if you're inside that top 6, it's a long turn back around, and you could be down into this tier of running backs for your running back 1 when you had these options as your running back 1. So, the top pick is completely up to how trustworthy you think Christian McCaffrey's health is. Again, if you trust his health, I think you can take him number 1. If you don't trust his health, Jonathan Taylor is the much safer pick. And then, the receiving options for both Alvin Kamara and Austin Eckler really warrant pretty much the 3-4 area, in my opinion, with those two. So that's what I think. If you guys disagree, let me know down in the comments. Let me know if you do agree with what I have ranked here. But make sure to tune in next time. It will be the wide receivers that we will run through. Again, keep an eye out for the divisional previews that are coming out as well. And remember that when the season starts, we will be streaming live on Twitch, all of the shows, and then the playbacks will be on YouTube. So try to come watch live, get a discussion going, get some input live from viewers. Be fun, have some conversations there. And if you don't catch it, it will be on YouTube. So again, thanks for tuning in, guys. We will see you next time.